Really want to say Denmark or Germany in like 2003.
I'm gonna go with Ireland. Get that feeling. Maybe let's go 1992.
I'm thinking maybe Denmark or Norway. 2015, 2014.
I'm going to have to say France and maybe 2002. $1943.
That's pretty good.
So I didn't realise some countries had already like established such a good system in schools. So that's like really like positive to hear.
I mean, that's incredible. Yeah.
1943. For some reason I figured that it would be introduced a lot later.
Something else that's really positive to hear, and wish we could do something like that.
I'm just thinking how different life is in the UK.
That might be the coolest thing I've ever had in my life. Imagine free Brazilian food. Like, oh, that does sound like heaven, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, that's sick. No, that's good. Yeah, that's really, really awesome that Brazil are doing that, because, I mean, that's obviously really, really expensive for them to do. And it's like, regardless of family, every single child. Oh, I mean, props to Italy for that, because definitely over here, in my school, we have fish and chips every single Friday. So fried fish, fried chips.
Yeah, every Friday we have fish and chips, or popcorn chicken and chips, or pizza and chips, or basically any type of food with chips on a Friday, sort of what we have at our school.
I would not expect that. It's pretty good though, teaching you from young.
I think that's something that would be really good if we could try and do something similar like that in schools in Britain, I think.
We have a lot over here, so I'm glad that Italy has introduced that actually as a law. So that's really, really good.
If there was a reduction in the amount of junk food at schools, because that's the place where a child eats 5 days a week, that would be such a huge difference in child health in the UK.
Oh, 100%. They need to do that. So, I mean, look at Italy and what they've just done.
I mean, definitely if we follow with Italy banning deep fried food, again, if you go to the canteen, the first thing you'd probably see is a wrap with deep fried chicken or a burger.
I can't count the amount of children I see in my school eating unhealthy foods like the fish and chips, all fried and greasy and oily and gross.
Because as soon as you put like kind of sparse guidelines, people kind of gravitate towards what's right. And if they took out things that were really like high sugar fat content from the get-go, you would automatically just change to a healthier option without feeling like you're compromising.
There's so many different options of healthy food. It doesn't have to be plain and boring. We can make it interesting and exciting for young people.
I don't know how I feel about that. I think the choice of eating what you want is quite important. I wouldn't say that would be quite a good thing here.
But in a good way, I guess they're all together, they're all having the same thing.
One of the advantages, if everyone was served the same meal, is that sort of the sort of those issues around bullying and stigma, they wouldn't occur as much, because everyone would be having the same. Everyone would be treated equally. Equality would occur more.
Well, I mean, teaching primary school age children about nutrition and health and food and what they're eating, that's like an already massive start to like their life and their learnings. That already gives them like a healthy idea of food.
I like that aspect where the children are getting educated, because I think that's what our current food system is lacking, with children actually not understanding what they're consuming and what's actually in it. So I think that taking that away to the educating part would be very useful.
Your kid comes home and they're like, "Oh, mummy, I had this." I'm like, I had that too. It's really good.
I mean, I don't think any parents are calling canteens here. I don't think so, no.
Just engage young people more, and obviously taking that love from school back home is just something really good to hear.
Free. Yeah, that's sick. I think that's yeah, that's really, really good.
See, I think that's probably the most interesting thing I've heard today. Mostly because when you look at India, especially from like a Western perspective, you automatically think that people are less well off. But their government is doing so much more than our government to make sure that they're well.
We know that nutritious food is good for sort of mental and physical development.
They don't have that same like welfare outside of school. They know that inside these four walls that like we always take for granted, they're definitely like just completely spoken for in that time.
I like that because, again, regardless free school meals or not, everyone is provided a hot meal. So, or a meal in general.
It will just make a child's future a lot happier, so I think that's something that's really positive, and we should try and aim to do that in schools in this country.
Nutritional value is just not there.
We need to make sure our foods are more healthier, nutritious, like packed full with vitamins and minerals.
100%. Definitely need more work on the food that we're being given.
I think the initial reaction would be quite negative. Everyone would say, where's all our chips? Where's our pizza? Where's our fried chicken? But I think over time, they would see the benefits of it.
There needs to be a revise of what we're giving our kids and what we're taking in as kids. Mostly because like once you leave the school system and you're now at uni, you don't know what's right or wrong and you're on your own. So for that 3 years, 4 years that you're there doing your degree and you're eating pot noodles every day, which have no nutritional value whatsoever, you could physically starve eating pot noodles for 4 days, which blows my mind because we're taught like, oh yeah, if you go to uni, like you're supposed to eat really bad. But how are you supposed to learn if you're eating really bad?
Like the idea of how nutritionists are designing the food that the children are eating. So even though the staff at the canteen, they know what they're giving, I don't think they really know the nutritional value. I don't think that's perhaps the focus. They're looking at something quick that's going to sell out easily, and that's something quick on the go, whereas not actually looking at the nutritious content of that burger, of those chips, of the Fanta.
I feel like there isn't that much of an emphasis on the fact that what you consume has a direct impact on how you concentrate and like how well you take in information. So something definitely needs to be done to make sure that our next generation, the next generation, the next generation are much more like versed on what's happening.
I mean, personally in my school, the food is definitely not healthy at all. I mean, especially in schools is where nutrition is so important, because you need all the right nutrients that you need throughout the day to help you learn and help your brain think so that you can work properly in school.
That we are so behind, even though we're the 6th largest economy in the world, I believe, and the fact that we can't even adopt a reform that will enable every child to have a meal, I think it's just almost disgraceful, if we could even say that. The fact that we are fighting to have something like this in the UK and they already exist in other countries.
It sounds worse than what I mean, but compassion. I think they definitely need to like it's almost as if they grew up and just forgot that there's a whole part of your life that's really, really important. So I don't know. I think maybe they just need to go back to school for a day, live it, and see what it's like to like try and concentrate on a math like lesson when you have no idea what's going on a panini with a slice of cheese in it. Like it doesn't make sense.
It's just these caterers that have their recipes and their meals and things. So no, I definitely don't think it goes for a nutritionist at all. Yeah, going for a nutritionist would definitely be an awesome idea to bring over here to the UK.
I think we could learn that a lot of schools are just offering healthier food. Like I think you mentioned Italy have completely got rid of fattening food. We could learn that it can be done, and we can offer a balanced meal for pupils. It doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be expensive. Everyone that has to be on free school meal should have the same quality food.
I think they just need to make food a little bit more fun, a little bit more innovative, rather than like your fish and chips and then like this smallest little spoonful of peas. Because then we grow up to hate vegetables and these things are good for us, and like fruit isn't fun anymore and these things are good for us. Like it just stems back to them forcing upon us these high fat, sugar content foods that don't do anything for us, and then making the stuff that's really good for us less appealing.
I think the foundation stone would be to actually change the meals provided at schools. So to not only go to the easy, quick options of chicken nuggets and already made pizza that just needs to be put in the oven, actually have more thought into the nutrients that's in the foods.
I feel like they just need to clue themselves back in, because it's almost like they left and never wanted to go back, and now everyone else has to live through that same thing, which isn't progression.
If that meal is their only meal, they're not only just looking at it, oh, okay, I have some calories, I'm not going to be hungry for the rest of the day. The fact that they're being fed properly and they're having all the nutrients necessary and that every child should get is happening.
The one thing at the moment, especially because of COVID, is ensuring that everyone that would normally get a free school meal in school is absolutely getting exactly what they need. So whether that's whether that is through £15 vouchers or whether that is food parcels being delivered to them. And I think the important thing is that making sure that the quality of the food is the absolute best that it can be, and nutritious and healthy and good for you.
The thing I would just like to say to everyone is that healthy food doesn't have to be expensive. It can be cost effective, and it can be simple. Simple, healthy meals are very common and obviously explored by many chefs in this country, such as Jamie Oliver, and we can make healthy foods on the free school meal budget of £3 a day. It doesn't have to be difficult.
Although it's important that they get food in general, ensuring that it's healthy is just as important.